Atomic Habits by James Clear is a self-improvement book that explains how small daily habits can create massive success over time. The main idea of the book is that tiny improvements, repeated consistently, lead to remarkable results. The book focuses on building good habits, breaking bad habits, and improving systems instead of only chasing goals. James Clear explains that success does not happen overnight. Small actions done every day slowly shape a person's future. For example, improving just 1% every day can lead to huge progress over time. Bad habits also grow slowly and can eventually create negative results. The book teaches that habits are like compound interest. Small actions become powerful when repeated consistently. The author says, goals are important, but systems are more important. Goals tell you what you want. Systems are the daily actions that help you achieve it. For example, a writer's goal may be to publish a book. The system is writing every day. People who focus on good systems are more likely to succeed long-term. In Atomic Habits, James Clear explains that, while goals are useful, systems are what truly create success. Goals show the result you want to achieve, but systems are the daily habits and routines that move you toward that result. According to the author, many people focus too much on the finish line and not enough on the process. For example, a student may have a goal to get excellent grades, but the system is studying consistently every day. A person may want to lose weight, but the system includes healthy eating and regular exercise. A writer may dream of publishing a book, but the system is writing a few pages every single day. Clear argues that goals are temporary because once you achieve them, the motivation often disappears. Systems, however, create long-term improvement because they become part of your lifestyle. Successful people are not successful only because of big goals. They succeed because of the habits and routines they repeat consistently. The book teaches that if you focus on improving your daily systems, good results will naturally follow. Small actions repeated over time can produce extraordinary achievements. One of the most important lessons in the book is changing your identity. Instead of saying, I want to lose weight, say, I am a healthy person. Instead of, I want to write, say, I am a writer. Clear explains that lasting change happens when habits become part of who you are. Identity-based habits. One of the most powerful ideas in Atomic Habits is the concept of identity-based habits. James Clear explains that real and lasting change does not happen only by changing actions. It happens by changing the way you see yourself. According to the book, habits become stronger when they are connected to your identity and personal beliefs. Many people focus only on outcomes. They say things like, I want to lose weight, I want to write a book, I want to exercise more. But Clear says, lasting improvement begins when you change your identity instead. I am a healthy person. I am a writer. I am someone who exercises regularly. This small shift in thinking is very important because your actions usually follow the type of person you believe you are. When people identify themselves in a positive way, they naturally begin to act consistently with that identity. For example, a person who believes they are a reader will make time to read every day. A person who sees themselves as disciplined will avoid unhealthy distractions. A person who identifies as an athlete will continue practicing even when motivation is low. The book explains that every small habit is like a vote for the kind of person you want to become. Each time you practice a good habit, you strengthen your new identity. Over time, these repeated actions build confidence and create permanent change. James Clear teaches that the goal is not only to achieve results, but to become the kind of person who can naturally maintain those results for life. The book introduces 4 simple rules for building good habits. First, make it obvious. Create clear reminders for your habits. For example, put a book on your pillow if you want to read at night. Keep healthy food visible. You can also remove triggers for bad habits. In Atomic Habits, James Clear explains that the first step to building a good habit is making it obvious. People often fail to build habits because they forget to do them, or because the habit is not clearly connected to their daily routine. By creating visible reminders, habits become easier to notice and remember. The author explains that human behavior is strongly influenced by environment. What we see around us affects the choices we make every day. If good habits are visible and easy to access, we are more likely to practice them consistently. For example, Put a book on your pillow or desk if you want to read more. Keep healthy snacks and water bottles visible if you want to eat healthier. Place workout clothes near your bed if you want to exercise in the morning. Keep a notebook on your table if you want to develop a writing habit. These simple visual reminders encourage action without needing strong motivation. James Clear also introduces the idea of habit cues. A cue is something that reminds your brain to begin a habit. Many habits already work this way. For example, seeing your toothbrush reminds you to brush your teeth. By creating strong and obvious cues, you can make positive habits automatic over time. The book also recommends using habit stacking, where you connect a new habit to an existing routine. For example, after I drink my morning coffee, I will read 1 page. After I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. This method helps habits fit naturally into daily life. In addition, the author explains that bad habits can also be controlled by changing your environment. If something unhealthy is visible and easy to access, you are more likely to do it. To break bad habits, remove distracting apps from your phone. Keep junk food out of the house. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Avoid environments that encourage negative behavior. By making good habits obvious and bad habits invisible, people can create an environment that supports long-term success and positive change. Second, make it attractive. Make habits enjoyable. For example, listen to music while exercising. Study with friends if it makes learning fun. The brain repeats behaviors that feel rewarding. In Atomic Habits, James Clear explains that people are more likely to repeat habits that feel enjoyable and rewarding. The second law of behavior change is make it attractive, which means connecting positive feelings with the habits you want to build. When a habit is fun, exciting, or satisfying, the brain naturally wants to repeat it again and again. Human behavior is strongly influenced by dopamine, a chemical in the brain connected to motivation and pleasure. When people expect something enjoyable, their motivation increases. This is why attractive habits are easier to maintain over time than habits that feel boring or painful. For example, listen to your favorite music or podcast while exercising. Study with friends if group learning makes studying more enjoyable. Use a comfortable and pleasant workspace while working. Reward yourself with something small after completing a task. By combining a habit with something enjoyable, the habit becomes easier to repeat consistently. James Clear also introduces a technique called temptation bundling. This means pairing something you need to do with something you enjoy doing. For example, only watch your favorite show while exercising. Listen to audiobooks only while cleaning or walking. Drink your favorite coffee while working on important tasks. This strategy helps train your brain to associate positive emotions with productive behavior. The book also explains that people are influenced by the habits of those around them. We naturally want to fit in with groups we admire. Because of this, surrounding yourself with motivated and positive people can make good habits feel more attractive. For example, joining a fitness group can make exercise more enjoyable. Spending time with readers can encourage reading habits. Working with disciplined people can improve productivity. On the other hand, bad habits often become attractive because they provide quick pleasure or temporary comfort. Social media, junk food, and procrastination may feel rewarding in the moment, even if they create negative long-term results. The author suggests reducing the appeal of bad habits by changing your mindset and focusing on their negative consequences. Ultimately, Atomic Habits teaches that when good habits are enjoyable and emotionally rewarding, they become easier to repeat consistently. Making habits attractive helps turn discipline into something natural and sustainable. Third, make it easy. Reduce difficulty and start small. For example, read 1 page instead of 1 chapter. Exercise for 2 minutes to build consistency. Small actions make habits easier to maintain. In Atomic Habits, James Clear explains that one of the most effective ways to build a habit is to reduce friction and make the behavior as easy as possible. This is the third law of behavior change. Make it easy. The idea is simple. The easier a habit is to start, the more likely you are to actually do it. Most people fail not because they lack motivation, but because the habit feels too difficult to begin. The author emphasizes that human behavior follows the path of least resistance. We naturally choose the option that requires the least effort. Therefore, if you design your environment and habits in a way that removes obstacles, you dramatically increase your chances of success. For example, instead of reading an entire chapter, start by reading just one page. Instead of committing to a 1-hour workout, begin with just 2 minutes of exercise. Instead of trying to clean the whole room, start by cleaning one small area. Instead of writing a full article, write one sentence or one paragraph. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they are powerful because they help overcome procrastination and build consistency. James Clear also introduces the 2-minute rule, which states that when starting a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to complete. The goal is not immediate success, but simply to show up and start the habit. Once you begin, it often becomes easier to continue beyond those 2 minutes. For example, read before bed becomes read one page, do yoga becomes take out the yoga mat, study for exams becomes open the notebook. By scaling habits down to something extremely simple, the brain stops resisting the action, and consistency becomes easier to maintain. The book also explains that reducing friction in your environment can make habits easier. For example, lay out your workout clothes the night before, keep books or study materials on your desk, remove distractions like unnecessary apps or clutter, prepare everything in advance so starting requires less effort. On the other hand, increasing friction for bad habits makes them harder to perform. For example, log out of distracting apps, keep junk food out of easy reach, turn off notifications to reduce temptation. The main idea is that behavior is shaped by convenience. When good habits are easy, they become automatic. When bad habits are difficult, they fade away over time. Ultimately, Atomic Habits teaches that small, easy actions repeated consistently lead to remarkable, long-term results. Success is not about intensity, but about simplicity and repetition. Fourth, make it satisfying. Reward yourself after completing a habit. When habits feel satisfying, people are more likely to repeat them. Tracking progress and celebrating small wins can help build momentum. In Atomic Habits, James Clear explains that the final law of behavior change is make it satisfying. This means that a habit is more likely to stick when it feels rewarding immediately after doing it. While long-term success depends on delayed rewards, human brains are naturally wired to prefer instant satisfaction. Because of this, adding a sense of immediate reward after a habit is essential for building consistency. The author points out that when a behavior feels good right away, the brain associates it with pleasure and is more likely to repeat it in the future. On the other hand, if a habit feels painful or unrewarding in the moment, people tend to avoid it even if it's beneficial in the long run. For example, after completing a workout, you might feel energized and proud of yourself. After finishing a study session, you can reward yourself with a short break or a favorite activity. After cleaning your room, you enjoy the satisfaction of a neat and organized space. After completing a writing task, you can mark it as done and feel a sense of achievement. James Clear emphasizes the importance of immediate rewards because they strengthen the habit loop. When the brain receives a reward right after an action, it forms a stronger connection between the behavior and positive feelings. Another powerful strategy mentioned in the book is habit tracking. This involves recording your progress each time you complete a habit. For example, you can use a calendar, checklist, or app to mark each successful day. Seeing your progress visually creates a sense of achievement and motivates you to keep going. For instance, crossing off days on a calendar builds a don't break the chain mindset. Tracking workouts helps you see your consistency over time. Monitoring, reading progress encourages you to continue daily reading. The author also explains that small wins are very important. Celebrating even minor progress builds momentum and keeps motivation alive. Each small success increases confidence and reinforces the identity of a person who follows through on their habits. At the same time, breaking bad habits requires the opposite approach, making them unsatisfying. If a habit feels unpleasant or comes with negative consequences, the brain will slowly lose interest in repeating it. For example, you might remind yourself of the negative effects of unhealthy habits. Associate bad habits with guilt or loss of progress. Remove any rewards linked to unproductive behaviors. Ultimately, Atomic Habits teaches that satisfaction is the key to repetition. When habits feel rewarding and enjoyable, they become part of your routine. Over time, These satisfying actions build discipline, consistency, and long-term success. To stop bad habits, reverse the 4 laws. Make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, and make it unsatisfying. For example, remove distracting apps from your phone and avoid environments that encourage bad behavior. The book also introduces a technique called habit stacking. This means attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. This makes new habits easier to remember. James Clear explains that environment strongly influences behavior. Good environments encourage good habits. For example, a clean workspace improves focus, and keeping junk food out of the house reduces unhealthy eating. Success often depends more on environment than motivation. The author emphasizes that missing one day is not a failure. The key is, never miss twice. Keep showing up consistently. Progress comes from repetition, not perfection. The main lessons from the book are: small habits create big results. Consistency matters more than motivation. Focus on systems instead of goals. Build habits based on identity. Make good habits easy and enjoyable. Your environment shapes your behavior, and tiny improvements every day can transform your life. In conclusion, Atomic Habits teaches that success is built through small daily actions rather than dramatic changes. By improving habits little by little, anyone can become healthier, more productive, and more successful over time. The book provides practical strategies that can help people improve their lives step by step and create lasting positive change.